they've already won the Club World Cup.
Oh, what a trick from Palmer! Superb!
They've already spent nearly $2 billion.
When people talk about spending, I mean, the way I think about it is we're investing. And when we have, a collection of players, and really those players continue to hold their value. Right. So it's not as if we're, kind of writing off the money. What we're thinking about is what does it really cost to finance that portfolio of players?
Yeah.
Right. Because of course, some players will go up in value and some players will go down in value. But I would argue that, the investments that we've made, have continued to, as a balance, continue to hold their value.
And now they've finally figured out how to make it work. Chelsea are no longer playing catch-up. They're rewriting the rules of modern football with a checkbook that never ends, a squad with an average age of 23, and a manager who studied under Pep Guardiola himself.
A word on Enzo Maresca, they're calling him Diet Pep. What do you make of that nickname, and have you spoken to him and offered any advice since he got the Chelsea job?
Like you, but not quite you.
It's for the her. It's for the beer, so...
Todd Boehly's project was mocked at first. People called it chaos, a circus, a gamble. But while everyone laughed, Chelsea built something terrifying.
Because of the age and because how good is the squad, for me Chelsea in the next 5-10 years will be one of the team or the team that is going to dominate English football.
Enzo Maresca has now taken the controls of a football machine armed with Caicedo.
Caicedo, is he going to try and beat him from inside his own half?
Enzo Fernandez. And Cole Palmer.
Lovely turn. Cole Palmer setting himself up.
And that was before they dropped €63 million on Joao Pedro.
It's all the way out here, an opportunity for the top corner.
€56 million on Jamie Bino Gittins. €35 million on Liam Delap.
Here's Delap, lovely skill from him. Still Liam Delap, oh, it's brilliant.
And €40 million on Jorel Hato. All in one window. This isn't just a spending spree, it's a football revolution, and the plan is finally starting to deliver. With nearly €275 million already spent this summer, and the arrival of Xavi Simons looming, Chelsea are sending a message to Manchester City and Liverpool. We've learned the formula, and we're not afraid to use it. Chelsea's new era began with a dramatic goodbye. In May 2022, after almost 20 years at the helm, Roman Abramovich was forced to sell the club due to political sanctions.
His assets were frozen, the government had to issue a temporary operating licence, and then a very public sale process and sort of fight for the club ensued. And so Chelsea had to condense a year's worth of work into 3 months to sell the club. So they were under extreme pressure, and if they hadn't met the 31st of May deadline in 2022, then the club would have folded. So there was extreme stress about the future of the club itself.
His time in charge had transformed Chelsea from a solid Premier League side into a global football empire. Under his leadership, Chelsea won 21 trophies in 19 seasons, including 2 Champions League titles.
Mata into Watrapa!
5 Premier Leagues, 5 FA Cups, and even the Club World Cup. It was the most successful era in the club's 120-year history. But after the storm came a new kind of ambition, louder, richer, and more extreme. Todd Boehly, leading a consortium alongside Clearlake Capital and Blueco, acquired the club in a blockbuster deal worth €4.97 billion. He didn't just inherit a legacy, he inherited a challenge to surpass Abramovich, to build something even bigger, and he chose to do it with money, a lot of it.
The fans are demanding, and they want to win, and we get that. We want to win. So I think our view though was that this is a long-term project, and we're committed to the long term.
In just 7 transfer windows, Chelsea spent €1.68 billion on players. That's almost $2 billion. No club in football has spent more in that same period. From the start, Boehly made his strategy clear. Copy the best and outdo them. Manchester City had invested €1.07 billion since Guardiola's arrival, winning 18 trophies and redefining the Premier League. Boehly's version was more aggressive. Chelsea didn't just go after stars, they built a full laboratory of elite young talent, signing players who were teenagers or barely into their 20s but worth tens of millions. Among the crown jewels, Moises Caicedo, signed from Brighton for €116 million, briefly held the record for the most expensive signing in Premier League history. A few months earlier, Enzo Fernandez had cost €121 million.
And Fernandez!
Wesley Fofana joined for €80 million, Mudryk for €70 million, Cucurella for €65 million, and Nkunku, Sterling, Romeo Lavia and Pedro Neto all arrived for around €60 million each. In 2025, João Pedro was signed for €63 million and immediately delivered, helping Chelsea win the Club World Cup, defeating PSG 3-0 in the final. And the numbers get even more shocking when you look at specific areas.
Work needed in that regard. Palmer, João Pedro, it's 3.
€531 million have been spent just on attackers since mid-2022. That's more than any other club in the world. PSG, Chelsea's rival in that final, comes second in the spending table, but still €700 million behind. Manchester United, famous for their reckless transfer strategy, rank third with just €589 million spent. Then come Tottenham, Al Hilal, Arsenal, Manchester City and Liverpool, all far behind Chelsea's level of investment. But Boehly's Chelsea wasn't a success story right away. In fact, the start was pure chaos. In the 2022-23 season, Chelsea went through 4 managers: Thomas Tuchel, Graham Potter, Bruno Salter and Frank Lampard. Despite spending more than €500 million in that window alone, the team finished mid-table and missed out on all European competitions. Stamford Bridge became a battlefield, with fans chanting against the board, holding protest banners and calling for Boehly's exit. Still, the club kept spending.
Every decision up until this point has been wrong. The way we've attacked the market, people got excited about it with all the kind of players they wanted to get. Yeah, they wanted to get young players in, but where was the structure to it? Okay, who signed up on those players? Because half of them came in, all right, before Tuchel got sacked. Then Potter came in. I was like, oh, you know what? You threw 9 players in January. Who buys 9 players in January? You sacked Tuchel after the preseason over, into a few games into the season. You bring Potter in. You buy out the entire Brighton backroom staff, paying him £12 million a year. This man upgraded from a Tissot to a bloody Rolex. I noticed. I clocked. He started going to a better barber, upgraded his whole life. What do we do now? You know what? We've supported this guy with so much, spent so much. Let's sack him, and you bring in a club legend to kind of steer the boat against Real Madrid. Come on.
And finally it clicked. With Enzo Maresca at the helm, Chelsea started to show a clear identity. They lifted the UEFA Conference League, returned to the Champions League, and then conquered the world, beating PSG in the Club World Cup final with a display of speed, intensity and dominance.
Yesterday was more than just a win, it was a warning. The real rebuilding of Chelsea is serious. Palmer was poetry in motion, Pedro dancing past defenders. It was amazing. I think there's some real hope for the future.
Everyone now is going to talk about Chelsea as being potential Premier League winners.
100% people will be right to believe that Chelsea are contenders next season.
That moment, Boehly standing on the pitch at MetLife Stadium next to Gianni Infantino and Donald Trump, wasn't just a photo opportunity. It was a statement. Chelsea had arrived, and not just as a football club, but as a symbol of money, ambition, and global power. This is not the Chelsea of Abramovich. It's not even the Chelsea of Mourinho or Tuchel. This is a super club engineered with spreadsheets, fueled by Wall Street, and built with a clear and fresh identity. Whether it works long term remains to be seen, but as things stand, they are world champions, they are back in the Champions League, and they've spent more than any club in history to get there, and they're not done yet.
Chelsea have become the first club in the history of football to win all the major trophies: Premier League, the FA Cup, the EFL Cup, the Champions League, Europa League, Conference League, and now the Club World Cup.
Now listen closely, because Enzo Maresca is not just the man on the touchline, he is the architect, the brain behind the blueprint, the quiet force transforming Chelsea's wild ambition into real power. When the club replaced Mauricio Pochettino with Maresca, it wasn't just looking for a coach, it was making a bet on a football philosopher, someone who could finally bring order to Chelsea, shape the scattered talent into something greater than the sum of its parts, and build a winning identity. Chelsea had spent absurd amounts of money. It had signed dozens of top prospects and hired respected managers, but results didn't come. Chemistry was missing, and so came Maresca, a calm, calculated figure, with Pep Guardiola's school of thought running through his veins. And in just one season, he turned a disconnected dressing room into a machine. The numbers speak for themselves. In his debut campaign, Maresca delivered 35 wins, 9 draws and just 13 defeats, a 61.4% win rate, the best since Chelsea's last league-winning campaign. The team racked up 69 points in the Premier League, their 4th best tally in 8 years, and more importantly, returned to the UEFA Champions League for the first time since 2021-22. It wasn't just about silverware, it was about restoring belief, structure, and identity. Chelsea started the season flying. Wins against Bournemouth, West Ham and Brighton gave the fans something they hadn't felt in years: hope. But Maresca didn't just win games, he resurrected careers. He brought back the best version of players who had once looked lost in Stamford Bridge's storm. Cole Palmer evolved into one of the most dangerous forwards in England.
Pass this time. Cole Palmer exploiting that space again. Now, what a trick from Palmer! Superb! The finish is almost a carving.
Enzo Fernandez began dictating tempo like a world champion should.
Carrying a bit of menace here at the end of this first half. Havertz!
Moises Caicedo finally looked worth his price tag.
Fielders, because he is one of those players who can cover so much ground, put out so many fires when they do get advanced and players are.
And defenders like Reece James, Malo Gusto, and even squad players who had been doubted all found rhythm and purpose under Maresca's guidance.
Let's talk about Enzo Maresca very briefly. Look, it's his first season at Chelsea. Already won the Conference League, made the top 4 Champions League, and now you...
That's the power of structure. That's the impact of a manager with clarity.
It's really fantastic, to be honest. And for all the people who did not really believe what, the philosophy of... Exactly. What is being built in Chelsea, I think all those concerns are being allayed because we can see that the level of consistency that is beginning to, show in this Chelsea side is truly remarkable. And when you consider it...
What comes next could shake the Premier League to its core. Because Enzo Maresca isn't just spending big, he's spending smart. Chelsea's transfer strategy might look chaotic from the outside, but look closer, and you'll see the blueprint of a club building a squad to last a decade. And there's no better example of that than the signing of Jorel Hato. Hato is not just another promising defender, he's a generational talent. At just 19 years old, he already has over 100 senior appearances for Ajax, and nearly 9,000 minutes of professional football under his belt.
I'm trying to figure out from the player's point of view, the fact that he's played a lot of games is great, but to go and play a lot of games and then all of a sudden make a move and then you don't play, that's not easy for a 19-year-old.
That's more than some Premier League defenders have by the age of 25. And yet the most shocking part isn't his age or experience, it's how complete his game already is. His rise has been meteoric. He made his debut in February 2023, becoming the 3rd youngest debutant in Ajax history, and just 10 months later, he became the club's youngest ever European captain, leading the team in a Europa League clash against AEK Athens. He was only 17 years and 282 days old. That doesn't happen by accident. It happens because Hato combines physical presence, technical intelligence, and a rare emotional maturity. On the pitch, Hato can play as a centre-back or a left-back. He's fast, strong and composed on the ball, the exact qualities Enzo Maresca looks for in his defenders. But more importantly, he's adaptable. Maresca doesn't believe in rigid roles. He sees football as fluid, and he expects his players to be versatile. If a player only wants to play in one position, he's going to struggle, Maresca said earlier this year. Hato is the kind of player who thrives in that system, able to adjust to different formations and read the game in real time. Chelsea's interest in Hato isn't just about now, it's about building a defensive line for the next era. After seasons of inconsistency at the back, this is the kind of signing that suggests long-term planning and a shift in priorities. A player who can grow alongside the likes of Levi Colwill, Reece James, Cucurella and Malo Gusto, and eventually become the pillar of Chelsea's backline. The Golden Boy Index, created by Football Benchmark and Tuttosport, recently ranked the top 100 young players in the world. Chelsea dominated the list with 7 names already on their books, 8 if you count Giovanni Quenda, who is set to join from Sporting. But even among this elite crop, Hato stands out. This isn't just another signing, this is a statement. The defensive cornerstone of a multi-billion-euro project. It's only a matter of time before Xavi Simons puts on the Chelsea shirt, and when he does, the landscape of their midfield will change completely.
Talking about how you spend your money, go for the big ones, I understand. Go for the biggest talents, yes,
Many believe Chelsea had turned their back on signing elite, ready-made stars, that the Boehly era was all about unpolished diamonds and raw potential. But Simons, he's both. A young talent and a proven game changer. His arrival would be a monumental statement, not just of ambition, but of readiness to win now.
Oh! Opportunity to be a hero!
For Enzo Maresca, the midfield has always been key, and in truth, while the club has no shortage of options, none quite offer what Simons does. He's not just a number 10, he's an attacking force who operates between the lines, sees gaps before they appear, and makes teammates better. It's no wonder the club has pushed so hard to close the deal. Some fans might worry that his presence could clash with Cole Palmer, but Maresca might be thinking the opposite, that Simons could unlock Palmer. Last season, Palmer did his best work from the right half space, where the pitch opens up and defenders can't pin him down. With Simons occupying the number 10 role, Palmer would be free to drift into his most dangerous zones, just like he did in the Club World Cup final against PSG, where he delivered a masterclass.
Work needed in that regard. Palmer, João Pedro, it's 3 and Chelsea are...
In fact, Palmer recorded 21 goal contributions in 25 matches from that half-winger position. That's not coincidence, that's chemistry waiting to happen again. And with Simons feeding him from behind, those numbers could skyrocket. But Simons won't just help Palmer. His arrival would supercharge the entire attack. Players like João Pedro, Liam Delap, and potentially even Nicholas Jackson if he stays, will thrive with such vision and creativity behind them. Chelsea's front line has already been re-armed this summer, but Simons is the one who might make it all click.
Doubles it forward nicely. There's a slip from Urban. Shoot, he says.
If Maresca surrounds his new number 9 with Simons, Palmer, and either Pedro Neto or Jamie Bino Gittins, the result could be terrifying. Creative brilliance, pace, intelligence and movement, all fueling the striker. For the first time in years, Chelsea fans might expect not just goals, but waves of chances. Now we have to talk about the part of the pitch where Chelsea is betting all their money. This is the part of the pitch Enzo Maresca wanted to overhaul the most, the front line. And Chelsea didn't just spend, they went all in. Over €208 million have been poured into attacking signings this summer alone. $63 million for João Pedro, €35 million for Liam Delap, €56 million for Jamie Bino Gittins, and €34 million for Estevão, better known as Messinho. Let's begin on the right flank with Estevão, the Brazilian prodigy who lit up the Club World Cup. He's explosive, sharp in decision-making, instinctive in combinations and blessed with the natural flair that defines the great Brazilian attackers.
He's resisted twice, he'll be asked to do a third time as well. Ball in towards Estevão, the touch is good, the shot's even better! Wow!
The step-overs, the body feints, the effortless dribbling. Estevão doesn't just play football, he performs it. But beyond the showmanship is a player with real end product. 12 goals and 5 assists for Palmeiras, and a string of decisive moments in big matches. He creates space, pulls defenders out of position, and delivers cutbacks and crosses with intent. For strikers like João Pedro and Delap, this is the winger you want feeding you. On the opposite side, Jamie Bino Gittins offers something equally exciting, but entirely different.
Jamie Gittins!
While right-footed, he operated mostly on the left flank for Dortmund, using his preferred foot to cut inside and unleash shots or tight passes in congested spaces. He's fast, agile and carries the ball with conviction. Last season he scored 8 goals and registered 3 assists, despite being marked tightly in most games. His ability to beat fullbacks both inside and outside, combined with his clean shooting technique, makes him an ideal inverted winger in Maresca's system. His presence on the left creates a mirror threat to Estevão on the right, a balance of chaos and precision. But Chelsea didn't stop with wide players. They threw everything into fixing the number 9 role, a position haunted by inconsistency since Diego Costa's departure. Now Maresca has 2 distinct weapons, Liam Delap and João Pedro. Delap is a pure centre forward.
He goes for goal! And he scored!
Strong, relentless, and ruthlessly efficient. Last season he outperformed Nicholas Jackson in almost every key metric. More goals, better shot conversion, and a higher expected goals over performance rate. His progressive carries ranked 2nd in the league, only behind Nottingham Forest's Anthony Elanga, and far ahead of Jackson. He's the kind of striker who doesn't need a dozen chances, he'll bury 1 or 2 and lead the line like a bully. In fact, he made Chelsea suffer directly when he scored and assisted in Ipswich's 2-0 win over the Blues last December.
Down, Delap against Jorgensen, and Delap!
Maresca saw it firsthand. Now he wants that power on his side. And then there's the crown jewel, João Pedro.
João Pedro!
There was a quiet celebration inside Chelsea when his signing became official. This wasn't a reaction, it was a move months in the making.
Now we're Chelsea, have a great team, have built a large squad with a lot of talented players, but still lacking that that one number 9 that can go out and score 25 goals in a season. Have they found that in João Pedro?
João Pedro offers unmatched tactical versatility. He can play as a central striker or drift to the left, creating numerical superiority and exploiting pockets of space. He's got intelligence, timing, and chemistry, especially with Cole Palmer, who seems to operate on the same wavelength. Their connection has already produced fireworks, including 3 combined goal contributions in the Club World Cup final demolition of PSG. João Pedro scored 10 goals last season, but he's not just a poacher. He creates as well, slipping passes, linking play, and opening lanes for midfield runners. It's no exaggeration to say that with Palmer beside him, Chelsea might have the most exciting attacking duo in the Premier League. They read each other, they move as one, and their movement pulls defences apart. Watching them this season might not just be thrilling, it could be devastating. With Estevao and Gittins flying down the wings, Simons orchestrating in midfield, and Pedro or Delap finishing moves, Maresca's new attack is finally taking shape. And it's not just young and expensive, it's terrifyingly coherent. Chelsea have built a front line that looks ready, not just to compete, but to dominate. Chelsea are no longer a rebuilding project, they're a loaded weapon. With billions spent, a genius like Maresca in charge, and a squad overflowing with young world-class talent, this team is engineered to conquer. The strategy is bold, aggressive, and terrifyingly precise. The Premier League should be on high alert, and Europe too, because Chelsea aren't just back, they're coming to dominate.